Welcome to Hartman Math. This is lesson 1-5, key characteristics of some functions, maybe not linear, as we're studying linear functions this unit, but just getting used to the idea of things like domain, range, x-intercepts, y-intercepts, and other things to follow. We begin here with domain of the function that we see that is graphed. We're talking about all possible x values. We're talking about how far left and right does the function go. Just before we even get to that, it's kind of just taking a look at what the function looks like here. And sometimes it helps just to trace it. Starting right here, follows this path. Arrow there saying continuing. So the domain, we're going to begin in interval notation on the left with, well, how far left does this function go? There's nothing out here, nothing out here, nothing out here. We start right here. Domain is x's. That's an x value of -3. And there is a clear starting point at -3, which indicates that we should use a bracket to say it starts right at -3, comma, this is an interval. Where does it end? Well, how far right does it go? Keeps going right, keeps going right. And the arrow suggests here that it's going to go right forever towards positive infinity. The range is how far up and down, or actually in reverse, how low does it go to how high does it go? We always work from smallest to biggest, and that would be from low to high on our range. So notice there's nothing here, nothing here. We first hit our function right here as we're coming up. The lowest that it goes is -4, and it does touch -4 as it rides right along that line at -4. So it would be bracket -4, comma, and then how high does it go? Well, it doesn't go up forever. There's nothing up here. The highest that it goes is right there, corresponding to +3, and it does touch that as well, so that would also be a bracket. X-intercepts are all the points, x-intercepts are points where our graph touches or crosses the x-axis. So right there we're on the x-axis, and that is a point of, this is not an interval, but it's a point, -3, 0. Once again here at -1, 0. Right here at 1, 0. And one more time here at 3, 0. Those are the 4 points at which the graph touches, crosses the x-axis. The y-intercept, okay, if it's going to have one, not all functions do, but there can only be, if it is a function, and this is one, at most one y-intercept. So we're talking about where are we crossing the y-axis, and that occurs right here. So that's going to be at 0 as an x-coordinate, comma, -2 as a point there. The next key characteristics we're going to take a look at are where is our function increasing, where is it decreasing, where is it constant. These are domain intervals, meaning we're going to give x coordinates only, and they're open intervals, meaning we would never use brackets in this case. We're going to use parentheses always for our intervals. It's x coordinates in all spots. So we're going to talk about increasing, continue to move from left to right. Where does the graph start to go up? We can see right here in this part of it, it's going up. So it starts to go up at -3. Again, these are open intervals, so it's always going to be a parenthesis. Starts going up at -3. Where does it stop going up? Well, right here it reaches its peak, so it stops going up right here, and as an x-coordinate, these are always x-coordinates, that's -2. That's our first interval. Then not going up, not going up, not going up. Oh, but right here, it starts to go up again. And that is an x-coordinate of right here, that's where it starts to go up, at 0. So our next interval starts at 0, and it's going up, going up, going up. Right here is where it stops going up, and that corresponds to an x value of 2. So that says from 0 to 2 it's going up. And then, well, that seems to be it. I think those are the only 2 places where our function going up, it's the only place where it's going to be increasing. Decreasing is going down. So where does it start to go down? Well, right here it's going down. So starting at -2, comma, stops going down once we hit right here. Again, x-coordinates. That corresponds to 0. And then, this was an increasing section where it's going up. Starts to go down right here at 2 until we get to stops going down right here, and that corresponds to 4. That's it for decreasing. Constant, where is the y-coordinate not changing? Where is it flat or horizontal? This section here, it's constant, it's horizontal. So starting at 4 until we get to, well, the arrow does suggest that it's going to keep going flat forever. So that's going to positive infinity is the interval at which it's constant from +4 to positive infinity. And today's last key characteristics that we're going to look at is where is our function positive, where is our function negative. We're talking about where does it have positive y values or y coordinates. But again, these are domain intervals. We're giving answers as x coordinates. So remember that positive means where are we above the x-axis. Here's our x-axis. What are the sections that are above? So right here, it's above. All that part right there is above. So that's what we want to answer as. It starts to be above right after -3. -3, it's on, so that doesn't count. It has to be above right after -3, which means we would use parentheses to suggest right after -3, like -2.99, it's above. All of this is above until we get right back to there at -1. You might recognize those values. Those are both x-coordinates of x-intercepts. -3, 0 is one of them. -1, 0 is one of them as well. Where else are we above? We're above right here. So from 1 to 3, also above. So that's an interval at which the function has positive values. All right, negative, where are we below the x-axis? Below right here, from -1 to +1. And then we're below here as well, starting at 3, and then, well, the whole thing is below, and it is going to in positive infinity, the arrow suggests, and it's going to be below the entire way. So we would say from 3 for the rest of the function, as it goes towards positive infinity, it's going to be below the x-axis, have negative y coordinates. In fact, all of these here are -4, so it fits the description. That's it for today. I'll see you next time.